Honestly, this episode just gave me more reasons to dislike Luke's character. I mean, come on, how gullible do you have to be to fall for YuGiOh's tricks? He's clearly using you, Luke. Open your eyes. But with that being said, there were a few interesting things about this episode, so let's take a look and see what they were. Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downton, and today let's talk all things episode 63 of the YuGiOh Sevens anime series. The 6th President revealed. Well, possibly. And no, it's not Luke. But this episode wants us to think that it might be Swirly. As how else did he know the passcode to the Gohar vault with all the different drone masks to? Plus, he can camouflage himself, making it less likely for the other Gohar siblings to recognize him. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that theory, Swirly being the 6th sibling, but honestly, if it makes this character more relevant and interesting, I say why not? Let's see what's underneath that chameleon costume. However, talking about the episode itself now, I really like the attention to detail placed throughout the entirety of this episode. We had things like the President Luke using a field spell. This of course links to the fact that the other real Gohar siblings all use field spells when dueling our main heroes. This was a nice little detail they added in here. We also had Roa remembering his duel against Mimi and explaining that the feelings he felt when dueling her resurfaced when watching the Luke man duel YuGiOh, making him think along the logical path line that maybe Luke was being mind controlled by the helmet when being Luke man, just like how Mimi was mind controlled when Roa dueled her as Gohar President. That again, I quite liked, because it gave a reason for Roa to be in the episode. It gave him purpose, and it made sense. This episode also does a great job of continuing to build up YuGiOh as this great antagonist within the series. His skills of manipulation were on full display here. Not only did he manage to manipulate Luke into believing that she was a 6th Gohar sibling, because of Luke's unbeaten dueling records, but also YuGiOh got under Roa's skin, baiting him into dueling when Roa wanted to just walk away and just let Luke be Luke. Now all of this I really liked, as A, it makes a great example of how to build up your antagonist, and B, it shows just how the show has managed to be so tightly written to the point where they're using the fact that a character like Luke, who is unbeaten, and making that unbeaten record into a story plot point that's important to progressing the story moving forward. And it makes sense with all the characters that are involved, just based on the personalities and personas that we've come to know over the many episodes before this one. Also, YuGiOh acted very smart in this episode, as he saw that Luke was a great threat dueling-wise and made plans to get him on his side, making Team YuGiOh weaker in the process. I've seen people theorizing that YuGiOh planned the events of last week's episode and lost on purpose. But I think it's better that YuGiOh didn't lose on purpose and saw that Luke was this threat and was being controlled by another drone. So YuGiOh reasoning for getting Luke to join him is to A, weaken his enemies, but B, to also find out who the real 6th sibling is, because the only person with access to that other drone that was controlling Luke is potentially the 6th sibling. Another point about YuGiOh's character was with the opening segment, when the broken grandma drone fell to YuGiOh asking for help. Is this hinting at the fact that YuGiOh has a violent side to his character? Did the grandma drone disagree with YuGiOh and get on his nerves to the point where he just kind of broke her? After all, we've seen the clip with YuGiOh trying to use the Iron Maiden to capture one of our heroes and send them into space, most likely killing them by suffocation. Plus, we now know that Yuden is in jail, so this really does add to YuGiOh's kind of antagonisticness, mean streak, and possibly his violent side, which I'm all for. This episode, he didn't have much of a presence, YuGiOh, but you can take a lot of things from what he said and the actions that he's been doing. So they really have done him smartly here. Now then, let's move on and talk about Luke. As much as I disliked him believing that he was the sixth president based on what YuGiOh told him, it does make sense based on Luke's personality. As we know for a fact that throughout Sevens, Luke has possessed a desire to become president. An example of this would be when he tells YuGiOh that if YuGiOh does join Goha, then once he becomes president, he's going to steal the title and the seat from him. He was obviously phoning Goha help services early on in the series and trying to, you know, make a joke out of that, but actually he could have been serious based on his personality and his kind of dim-wittedness. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, Luke wanting to become president is nothing new to the series. We've known this for a fact throughout these episodes that we've seen him in. I was shocked though at the idea of Luke even considering the possibility of betraying his friends, just based on the way he reacted to learning about Roman being a traitor slash spy. His words and actions towards her after he found out were very negative. So although despite Luke being very dense, dumb, idiotic, all of that stuff, I at least saw him as the type of guy who would not turn on the people he cared about. He would stand by his friends no matter what opportunities arose. But I guess I was wrong in that regard. Luke could have rejected to join YuGiOh, even after learning that he is the sixth sibling, but he didn't. A part of me hopes that he has a plan, but his overinflated ego leads me to have little to no faith in him. Honestly, I just think he's doing this for personal gain, and he's just on one of his power trips. But fingers crossed he does have something working in that gear brain of his. Okay, so time for some positivity regarding Luke's character. I've been a bit harsh, but for good reason. I really did like, though, the voice acting from this character and the actions they displayed within the duel. Yes, it felt a little bit off at the start, and I love the fact that Roa pointed this out. Rook's dueling style was different, although personally, from a casual player's perspective, I thought he did the best he could with the hand that he had. But at the same time, the energy just wasn't there from Luke at the start. He had no kind of charisma. He was doing things as if just going through the motions. And I like the fact that was pointed out, and then afterwards, he realized that and kind of gained his spirit back a bit and gained his jolliness and passion. I kind of, two halves to his personality there was quite intriguing. One really intriguing visual, though, was the aura surrounding Luke when he fell into that negative state of emotions. We saw purple, dark, black aura kind of emerging around his body. This reminded me a lot of the evil Luke that appeared in episode 27, so I wonder if that has any importance or any implications moving forward. And lastly on Luke's character, a question. I would ask him what benefit there are to being a Goha sibling, as anyone who's affiliated with Goha has lost a duel at least once or multiple times. So being an employee of Goha, whether you're a Goha president, because all the presidents have lost, whether you're a former president in Mimi, or a Hexagon 6 member, or even Neil, your dueling records are gonna go down if you're a member of Goha, so why do you want to join them? Now then, as for the duel, I thought it was okay. Nothing special, still enjoyable. It was very dramatic, with the characters flying about all over the place, left, right and centre when being attacked. But seeing how Luke won reflected the way he beat YuGiOh in the tournament finals, making it so that in order to beat Roa, Rook had to pull out his most powerful combination, using multiple attacks to break down his opponent's defences. This was both really awesome to see, and it helps keep more credit to Roa's character even in his defeat. Now then, on the topic of Rook relying on fusions, I thought This opening segment was very reminiscent of the time when all Luke wanted was to have a maximum. However, if Luke was just waiting for his fusion to arrive in his hand, then that means that when the partnership of YuGiOh and Luke was formed, then that means YuGiOh gave Luke a fusion card. Interesting, he has more than one copy. The mention of God, I thought again, was an interesting piece of information within this episode. The whole segment of that though was rather dramatic, and seeing how Luke only survived by pure luck in drawing 3 level 7 monsters was just plain BS. But at the same time, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! So what are you gonna do? The more shocking message behind this inner monologue though was Luke thinking about giving up. He just wanted to roll over and admit defeat. Definitely not like the Luke we come to know within Sevens already. Never once seen Luke kind of give up. Yes, he's gone into despair and Yuga's had to pull him out of it. But without Yuga around, I wonder, had that trap card not worked, would we have seen a different Luke moving forward? However, with all that being said, I thought another question does arise from this duel. Does it count towards the YuGiOh siblings versus YuGiOh score sheet? As nothing was referenced about that within this episode. If Roa had won, then would Rush Robot had been set free? But if Luke really isn't a YuGiOh sibling, then surely that means Luke is still aligned with our heroes, meaning that him winning this duel frees Rush Robot as well. It was a bit of a complicated issue because I'm not sure if they addressed it or not, but hopefully they clear this up in the next episode. Overall, this episode was enjoyable. More importantly, it felt like a setup episode, but the things that are being set up are really exciting, as the only way to bring Luke back to his senses is to beat him in a duel or to draw against him. And the list of potential characters to break his record/streak is looking delicious. You could have Yuga finally get a win over Luke. You could have Tiger continue her dominance over her brother. Or you can have Roman dish out some much needed karma, as now Luke is the dirty traitor of the group. And she also needs to get revenge for Roa's defeat. No matter what direction Sevens goes, I'm sure they'll deliver spectacularly. But, as always, those have been my thoughts for episode 63 of the YuGiOh Sevens anime series. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, hit that like button. Comment your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about the episode. But apart from that, subscribe and have a good day. Alligator, Martinet, goodbye.